What if I told you the most dangerous advice we give young people is actually get out of your comfort zone? That sounds wrong, right? Because we hear it everywhere in school assemblies, on social media, from teachers, parents, and from motivational videos. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Do something that scares you every day. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. It's almost like comfort has become the villain of our generation, like being calm, familiar, or steady means you're falling behind. But a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with a friend, and he completely flipped that idea for me. I told him, like everybody does, bro, you should get out of your comfort zone, try new things, step into the unknown. But then he looked at me and said, why would I get out of my comfort zone if I already built something I'm comfortable with? I laughed at first, but then I realized I actually didn't have an answer. Then he added, why would I choose to be uncomfortable when I finally know what makes me feel okay? And that sentence stayed with me. Because we talk so much about leaving our comfort zone, we almost never talk about why we build one in the first place. Especially as teens, being young already feels uncomfortable. We're constantly being watched, evaluated, compared. Grades, talents, friend groups, futures. We're told to figure out who we want to be confident but not arrogant, productive but not stressed, unique but still fit in, ambitious but never fail. All of this pressure exists while we're still trying to figure out who we are. So when we choose comfort, we feel guilty, like we're wasting potential, like rest means laziness. Like everyone else is moving forward while we're standing still. And we finally find something that feels safe, a routine, a group of friends, a hobby, a familiar place, or even just being alone, we're told that staying there means we're stuck. But what if comfort isn't the problem? What if misunderstanding comfort is? Not long ago, I used to feel guilty for liking familiarity. I like knowing what my day would look like. I like sticking to things I was really good at. And every time someone asked, don't you want to try something new? I felt like saying no meant I was afraid. Like comfort meant weakness. But here's something no one really explains. Comfort doesn't appear by accident. You build it. You build it by learning what drains you. You build it by surviving situations that overwhelmed you. You build it by understanding what makes you calm and what makes you anxious. Your comfort zone isn't laziness. It's self-knowledge. For teens especially, that matters. And psychology actually supports this. Psychologists talk about something called the optimal growth zone. It's a space between boredom and panic. On one hand, if you're too comfortable, nothing changes. But on the other hand, if you're too uncomfortable, your brain goes into survival mode. When this happens, learning shuts down. Your body releases stress hormones, your focus narrows, your brain isn't thinking about growth. It's thinking about protection. That's why when we're overwhelmed, we forget things we already know. We panic over small mistakes and we shut down instead of improving. Real growth happens in the middle, when you feel challenged but supported, nervous but not terrified, stretched but not broken. And that support, that safe base, that's your comfort zone. In fact, another psychological idea explains this even better. It's called psychological safety. It means knowing that if you fail, you won't be humiliated. If you speak up, you won't be judged. If you try, you won't be abandoned. Studies show people learn faster, perform better, and take healthier risks when they feel psychologically safe. So confidence doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from knowing you'll be okay even if you mess up. Let me explain it in a simpler way. Imagine you're playing a video game. You don't start on the hardest level. You don't start with enemies everywhere and no instructions. You start where you can learn the controls, where you fail safely, where you understand the rules, where you slowly improve. That starting level, that's your comfort zone. No one says, wow, you're weak for starting on level 1, because we understand that progress needs a base. But in real life, we forget that. We expect ourselves to jump into new social situations, new responsibilities, new identities, new expectations, without learning the controls first. And when we struggle, we don't say, maybe I move too fast. We say, something's wrong with me. But growth isn't about shocking yourself. It's about strengthening yourself. That's why my friend's words mattered so much. He wasn't scared of growth. He just didn't believe growth had to hurt. And honestly, why should it? There's this unspoken rule that says, if it's not uncomfortable, it doesn't count. But think about the moments when you actually learned something. Did you grow because you were panicking? Or because you felt supported? Did you improve when you were overwhelmed? Or when someone made you feel safe enough to ask questions? Discomfort can create growth, yes, but only when there's stability underneath it. Only when you know you won't fall apart if you fall. Your comfort zone is that stability. And this brings me to one of my favorite metaphors. There's a story about how eagles teach their young to fly. When a baby eagle is ready, the mother doesn't just push it out of the nest and disappear. She encourages it to jump, but she stays close. She circles underneath as the baby tries to fly. And as the baby eagle starts to fall, the mother swoops down and catches it before it hits the ground. That's how real growth works. Not being pushed into fear, then abandoned, but being supported while you learn how to fly. Your comfort zone isn't a cage. It's a safety net. And here's the mindset shift that changed everything for me. You're not supposed to escape your comfort zone. Maybe the better advice is to expand it. Expanding doesn't mean changing everything at once. It means small, intentional steps. Trying one new thing, not 10. Speaking up once, not changing your whole personality. Leaning slightly into discomfort, then returning to rest. That cycle, challenge then safety, is how the brain actually builds confidence. Because when we push ourselves too far, too fast, we don't become brave. We become exhausted. A lot of teens don't quit because they're incapable. They quit because they were pressured before they were ready. Burnout doesn't come from caring too little. It comes from caring too much. Staying in your comfort zone for a while doesn't mean you're failing. It might mean you're healing. It might mean you're learning. It might mean you're building a foundation strong enough to stand on. So today, I want to challenge the way we talk about comfort. Instead of treating it like an enemy, let's treat it like a partner, a launchpad, a place we return to, not because we're hiding, but because that's where we recharge. Because when you feel secure, you take better risks. You choose growth, not pressure. You move forward without losing yourself in the process. So if you're a teen or anyone sitting here thinking, I know I should try more things, but I'm tired, or I like where I am, but I feel guilty for staying. I want you to hear this. Maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're not weak. And maybe you're not doing life wrong. Sometimes staying in isn't avoiding growth. Sometimes it's exactly what makes growth possible. Thank you.